65 has just released and dino fans are flocking to the cinema to check out what this new survival horror film has to offer. Starring Adam Driver as Mills and Ariana Greenblat as Kaale, the film pits the two leads against a deadly planet with all kinds of hazardous terrain and terrifying creatures that are looking to eat them. We were excited for this film since early December last year when the trailer was shown off, but we've actually known about this production ever since it was announced back in 2020, where it was teased as a sort of Planet of the Apes but with dinosaurs. So, was it worth the wait? Well, sit back and have a drink and watch our spoiler-free review. What's up, resident? Alistair here, and I saw 65 in London yesterday at the earliest screening I could find. And the screening was actually quite full. Maybe about 80% of the seats were taken, which was actually quite surprising because I've heard no one talking about this film outside of the dinosaur community. And before I watched it, I of course couldn't ignore the reviews that were coming out, which weren't exactly the most promising. But I'll talk about those later, because first I want to give my thoughts, and I'll try and keep this spoiler-free, and maybe we'll do a spoiler discussion soon, so leave a like and let us know if you want to see that. Before we get into it, I'd like to thank our DangerVille members for supporting the channel. Thank you guys, it means a lot. If you'd like to become a member, the link will be here. 65, as the marketing for the film showed us, is set on Earth 65 million years in the past, and our leads are part of an ancient alien civilization that live far away, potentially in another galaxy altogether. Mills is a kind of space trucker and is driving an exploration vessel that's getting passengers from one point of the galaxy to another. But this is a 2-year process, and he has to tell his wife and his daughter that he won't be seeing them for a while. In the mission, he hits an unexpected asteroid and crash lands into Earth, where all sorts of, what are to him, aliens are out to get him. It's pretty dark thematically, and you're immediately faced with the possibility that there may be no way off the planet, and that the situation is hopeless. But it's not all dark. Mills and Kaale share some light-hearted scenes together as they get to know each other, and there's some pretty funny one-liners. The film has a pretty straightforward story. It's a journey from point A to point B, and it's very much focused on the surrogate father-daughter dynamic between Mills and Kaale. It gives us some nice character moments at the beginning, which, whilst feeling a bit cheesy, does help us get to know Mills a bit better. The film quickly jumps from scene to scene and can feel quite sporadic at times, but quite quickly, you can get the idea that this is very much a studio-meddled film. The opening scene especially feels like a reshoot because all the same information is shown to us throughout the film in much more subtle ways. But I guess the test audiences felt like it didn't spoon-feed them enough. Adam Driver starts out quite wooden and reserved in his performance, and I wondered if he was the right actor for the role. But as the film progressed, we start to see him loosen up and actually let out his emotions that he's been keeping bottled inside, which I found to be a nice detail. Ariana Greenblat as Kaale was actually great in the role, and she speaks what I believe to be an alien language, which causes some conflict between the two due to poor communication. But they connect on a couple phrases like family and her word for dead, which helps with their bond and gain a mutual understanding of each other, even if they aren't fluent with each other's languages. Of course, the reason you're all interested in this film is because of the dinosaurs. I've seen complaints that there's not a lot of dinosaurs in the film, which I just have to disagree with. The way the film is shot makes it out like our leads are being stalked and that something could jump out at every corner. The whole thing almost feels like the scene from Jurassic Park where Muldoon is hunting the raptors, and that if you're not careful, something will gobble you up. As for the designs, some didn't bother me nearly as much as I thought they would. The Pterosaur and Tyrannosaurus Rex designs especially, I actually quite liked. It even has quill-like feathers. Although there are some just abominations that I never want to lay my eyes on again. I can't show it to you because I don't have any images of it, but it can only be described as an Ankylosaurus with a T-Rex head. It looked like something out of Pokemon, but the VFX from Framestore on display is pretty well done on most of the dinosaurs. The skin texture looks like dirty reptilian skin, and it looks like something you could actually touch. The environment itself is pretty great, and there's some absolutely gorgeous shots of the horizon that really make this feel like a prehistoric Earth. I would have liked to have seen some more extreme weather, like a rainstorm that they had to take cover from. For most of the journey, the weather is clear blue skies, at least until rocks start falling from the sky. In terms of where the film fell apart somewhat, is that there wasn't really many surprises. I was expecting some twist ending, because if you present your film's premise as Planet of the Apes but with dinosaurs, then you expect something more, which is why we were theorizing on whether this was actually even Earth, or whether that was a misdirect, or hell, if this was a future Earth, and that these are actually genetic experiments gone wrong, which explains the radically different designs. Almost like Jurassic World if the Indominus won and just kept reproducing. It would have been great if Sony didn't actually show the dinosaurs in the trailer and never revealed in the marketing that it was Earth 65 million years ago. Cloverfield did a similar thing with its trailers, not revealing whether it was aliens or whether it was just paranoia. There was a sense of mystery there, because in the film there's a big moment where they reveal that it's Earth, and it feels like it was meant to be a big reveal. But we already knew it was Earth. If you have any friends that like dinosaurs but haven't watched or even heard about this film, don't tell them about the plot, just put it on and I think it'll be a great surprise. The film was clearly the result of studio meddling because it feels very short. The editing is quite janky, and some scenes from the trailer weren't actually in the film, like them breathing together and the red paint on the trees to mark their location. So it seems like because of test screenings, they tried their best to cut out as much survival elements as possible to get straight to the dinosaur action. It really would have benefited from being longer, because at 1 hour and 33 minutes, there's really not a lot of breathing room. And I'm the kind of person that likes the less is more philosophy of filmmaking, so I'd have personally loved an even longer and more survival-based film. The dinosaurs are also definitely the result of studio meddling, since there was meant to be an Ankylosaurus and Triceratops in the film, which appear to have been completely replaced with more generic carnivores. It's clear where the Ankylosaurus was meant to be, and from everything I've seen, it feels like this four-legged Monster Rex thing was probably originally meant to be the Triceratops, considering that it gallops on all fours, but they changed them out because they didn't think herbivores could be scary. But if Prehistoric Planet has taught us anything, it's that these gigantic herbivores can be extremely threatening. Overall, I really enjoyed it. It's not a perfect movie. Some of the dialogue feels very on the nose, the editing can cut from one scene to another quite abruptly, and I feel like they could have been more creative with the dinosaurs. But it's got a good story and likable characters that I do end up feeling for in the end. And I'm a sucker for Turok, so it feels like this movie was made for me. It's not going to be for everyone, but if you go in expecting a survival journey that has dinosaurs in it, instead of a straight-up dinosaur action film, then I think you'll like it. I'm giving 65 a 7 out of 10. I think Swerve put it best. This is the kind of movie you put on while eating a takeaway, the definition of a fast food movie. That's just perfect. But how about those critic reviews? They're really tearing it apart, and I'm not sure why. It's a very simple survival adventure film with all the pieces of the jigsaw in there that should make for a compelling movie. Sure, not all of it works, but a 36% on Rotten Tomatoes is a bit harsh. I could imagine it being a 55% if I was being extremely critical. Now, I see a lot of reviews either comparing it to Jurassic Park or saying they wish it embraced the campiness of the concept more, which I just have to disagree with. There's nothing wrong with a film with this kind of story taking itself seriously, just because it has dinosaurs in it. Not everything has to have that Marvel cheese. It's a life and death situation, and I think it has a nice balance of doom and gloom with some heartfelt and sometimes comedic moments. So I'm not really sure what they're talking about.
Oh, hey there! Just sneaking on in on all Alistair's videos so far. I agree with pretty much everything he has to say about the 65 movie. He's a clever redcoat. But I have a few other things that I want to tell you about how I feel about this movie. Now, a lot of people are going into this movie expecting it to be something that it's not. It's not a dinosaur action movie like Jurassic World, everyone. It's more of a family man's survival movie with dinosaurs thrown into the game. In short, this is a movie made for a specific type of person who likes nature, outdoors, survival, and of course dinosaurs. Made for someone like me. Let's talk about the dinosaurs. But one thing about these dinosaurs that people might be overlooking is that they move, react, and embody real-life animals. Safe to say, we aren't seeing any smiling or crying dinosaurs in this movie, and that's how it should be. I've lived around animals my whole life, and this movie, minus one or two of its dinosaurs, just nails how wildlife would react in this situation. There's no over-the-top human-like reactions and personalities here. Every time I've seen a dinosaur get blasted all to hell, I felt bad for it. They weren't monsters, they were just animals. But I do really like how it feels like a movie that's from the 80s, 90s, and 1000s, back when movies didn't have to always be these big global blockbusters or some super serious award-winning drama. Film diversity that comes with movies like Cocaine Bear and 65 is amazing, and I hope this recent trend of bringing back less serious movies continues its comeback. So that's pretty much it. I gotta get the hell out of here before a dinosaur gets me.
Thank you, Jacob. Go watch 65 in theaters and make up your own mind. Don't listen to critics. Hell, don't listen to me. This is just my opinion. And even with all of its issues, I had a blast watching it. And I'll definitely be going to see it again at some point. If you've seen the film already, what did you make of it? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you want more 65 videos, then leave a like because it lets us know what you want to see more of. Don't forget to subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of DangerVille today. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.